even though this one looks very similar.
Pretty sure they are.
Well, hopefully everyone, so excited to see y'all here. Are we ready to get started?
I think we can. We're on the hour, so.
Okay. Well, we'd love to know a little bit more about you. So as Kelli is going through the presentation, yeah, she'll know who you are. So if you want to throw your name, your location, I guess not your name, your name's already there, but your location and why you are attending would be amazing inside that chat. We can kind of get to know who's in here with us. So I am going to be your host today. I'm Rhonda Blackburn. I am the co-chair of professional development along with Kelli. A little bit of information there for me. Been part of TxDLA for a long time and love to see the different things that happen and we be able to bring to you within these webinars. Just a reminder, these bite-sized learnings happens every single month. Just get on our website, go under webinars, and you'll be able to see what's there. If you are a member, you get access to all of them all the time. If you're not a member, you get access for a little bit of time, and then you can then join. It only costs $35 to join. We'd love to have you part of our organization. So this month, as you know, we're doing Be Smart from the Start with Dr. Kelli Erwin. She's with learning.com and TxDLA as my co-chair in this adventure that we take every day. Next month, we are going to really highlight healthy lifestyle. It is Healthy Lifestyle Month in November. So we're going to bring you a webinar to really kind of talk about, it could be being healthy online, or what do we need to be doing, or how do we teach students about healthy lifestyle or education, exercise and stuff like that online. So we'll bring that to you in November. So keep an eye out for that. Don't want you to forget that in 2023 in March, 28th through the 23rd is our conference back in Galveston. We will have a virtual option just like we did last year from April 4th through the 5th, but the call for proposals are open. So if you want to know, want to be able to share your expertise and what you have learned over these years, definitely turn in a proposal. We'd love to hear from you. Remember, this is a meeting, so it is being recorded, but you have the availability to open your chat, ask questions. I know Kelli would love that, but when you are not talking, it's good to kind of keep it muted just in case. So definitely mute when you're not talking. So no further ado, we are going to jump into this with our wonderful presenter, Kelli. This is a lot of information about her, but I know she's going to introduce herself even more when I stop sharing. So I'm going to stop sharing and turn this over to Kelli. If I could figure out, let's escape here. And
great. Thank you, Rhonda.
Where is my stuff to stop?
I think I can just take it from you.
That would be great.
We're going to try to just take it. There we go. All right, we're off and running. Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here today. Hope you really enjoy the session. It's not going to be anything you don't know necessarily, but hopefully it's good reminders along the way. As Rhonda mentioned, I'm Dr. Kelli Erwin, and I'm the Senior Instructional Design Manager and Product Owner at learning.com. For those of you who may not know or be familiar with learning.com, we're a kindergarten through 12th grade digital literacy company. Basically, our mission is to help students and teachers excel in a digital world. We cover topics that help students to safely learn, how to become consumers and producers in this world that we live in using technology. The topics that we cover include things like online safety, digital citizenship, which is kind of what we're talking about today, but also keyboarding, software applications, computational thinking, coding, and all sorts of other things that align to really, again, helping students excel in this digital world. I've been a member of TxDLA, not nearly as long as Rhonda. I've been around since about 2008. Really enjoy being able to donate some of my time to the organization. As Rhonda said, chair for the Executive Partner Council, and then her sidekick, co-chair for professional development. Basically, my job keeps me on high alert when it comes to being smart from the start. And I'm just looking forward to sharing some of my experiences, what I've learned, and what I share with others with you today. So we'll go ahead and get started without further ado. As our focus is online safety, and how to stay smart while learning, living, and working in the digital world, we're going to kickstart. Whether you're taking online classes for school or to learn a new skill, technology is a part of your experience. I imagine that in your daily life, you utilize technology for enjoyment in many different ways, right? Whether it is to listen to music, communicate with friends, or even just to document the events of your day. And of course, we can't forget work. Right? Technology allows us to stay on top of things, whether we're reading emails, checking our calendars, or just collaborating on projects. Technology is all around us in this digital world. And I do actually mean world, as we are connected across all continents and oceans. So again, if you think about it, we are students, whether we're children or we're adults, we're learning. We're enjoying our world using technology, and we work every day using technology. So regardless of what we think of, we have to be smart at all times with what we do while we're living in this digital world. October is Cyberbullying Awareness Month and Cybersecurity Awareness Month. These two go together, right? Since technology is such a big part of the digital world we live in, unfortunately, it's opened the door for some kind of nefarious characters to test their creativity, in ways that we would rather they didn't, and maybe even in ways that we haven't even thought of. Because of the importance and the awareness for cyberbullying and cybersecurity, we're going to keep our focus there today. Obviously, there's a lot more that ties to the digital world that we live in, but today's focus really is on this area. To help us set the foundation for our conversation today, though, I want to begin kind of with some definitions. So here's what I want you to do. You can either use your, you can either use your cell phone or join on the web. Either way is fine. It doesn't matter, whatever you're comfortable with. But go to this poll if you would. I want you to tell me what you think cyberbullying is. So we're going to take just a couple of minutes for everybody to get to where they need to be to tell us what you think. Might be a sentence, might be a word, maybe a phrase. I don't know. It's up to you. What do you think cyberbullying is? And while everybody's doing that, Rhonda, I'm going to ask you a favor. If you would, will you keep an eye on the chat, because I kind of have it minimized on my screens, and let me know if there's anything that comes in that we need to talk about along
Definitely.
the way. Thank you. All right. The poll is active, and as you go in, you should be able to start seeing some comments coming in along the way. Again, you can use text to send them in, or you can go to the website and log in. If you missed it on the first slide, you'll see it here at the top of this one too. So it looks like we're getting some words coming in: offend, using person, hurt, internet, coerce, bullying. All of these tie to cyberbullying, absolutely. Those are some great words that came in. To set the stage for today, let's do this. Let's define it in one way. At the very top of the screen, I put in kind of what I think of when I think of cyberbullying. And it's someone or some entity, right? It doesn't always have to be an individual person, but someone or some entity using technology communications to either intimidate or harass a person or even another entity. So cyberbullying can happen in all sorts of different ways, but it is something that happens using technology. All right, so we're good with the definition for cyberbullying. Now let's take that a step further, because I said we were talking about a couple of different things today. I also want you to think about cybersecurity. What does that mean? So we're going to do the same process, either on the web or you can join by text, either one. It is now active for you. So go ahead and join. Let us know, what do you think? How do you define cybersecurity? What does it mean? What's included in cybersecurity? So let's take a couple of minutes and everybody kind of send in what you think on cybersecurity. As the words are coming in, it's going to work just like the cyberbullying one did, and it's going to pull in and create a word cloud for us. Okay, so we have online, your surroundings, safety, being aware, safe in general. Absolutely. All right, so again, just so that we're all on the same foundation, let's look at how I've kind of defined it, right? So when I think of cybersecurity, I think of being protected against the criminal or unauthorized use of electronic data. But really, I think it goes a little beyond that. It actually includes us taking measures to protect ourselves in a digital world. So it's not just about the bad side of it, it's about the good side of it too. And the good side is us taking steps to protect ourselves. So thanks for sending in your words on, or your thoughts on cyberbullying and cybersecurity. Okay, now that we've kind of established those definitions that tie to this month's focus, basically for awareness of cyberbullying and cybersecurity, I want us to kind of really dive in to the focus for today and what we're going to talk about. And I want to begin by reminding you all that cyberbullying is just another form of bullying. It can impact children and it can impact adults. Cyberbullies pick victims. That's it. They don't pick ages, skin colors, types of speech, religion, or anything else. Now, they definitely may use these as a basis to hurt, but bullies, regardless of in-person or online, they pick victims. Remember our definition of cyberbullying just a second ago? It includes intimidation and or harassment. It was reported that 44% of all internet users in the US, they have experienced online harassment. It's kind of scary. That's a lot of people. If you think of the size of the whole United States, 44% of all internet users. Wow, that's a lot. 37% of children between the ages of 12 to 17 have been cyberbullied. Y'all, that's only 5 age groups. And sadly, around 60% of those children say they've witnessed cyberbullying happen, but they didn't intervene. I don't know, I think that the one statistic that we're going to talk about that really kind of is the most frightening to me is that 1 in 10 children, that's not very many. Those are the ones that will tell an adult about what's happening. 1 in 10. Those are a lot of people that are being impacted by cyberbullying. These are not statistics for in-person bullying. These truly are cyberbullying. So whether you're involved in K-12, higher ed, government, or industry, it doesn't matter. We're all adults. And as adults, we kind of have a duty to help protect our children. And it's not really just children, right, that need to be protected though, is it? Adults experience and often participate in cyberbullying too. All right, so how do we recognize these signs so that we know how to help and we know when it's happening? We can't and won't see all things, right? We know that won't happen. But as long as we're aware of some of the things to look for, it can help us get in the right direction of helping. One of the first things that you may notice as a sign that helps you recognize cyberbullying is this lack of interest. It might simply just be not wanting to leave a safe environment or not wanting to interact with peers or colleagues. You know, we're all emotional at times for all sorts of different reasons, right? And so when you look at changing emotions as part of recognizing cyberbullying, it's good, but it can often be difficult, right? You can't really pinpoint it when it comes to a reason. But it's definitely something to consider as a trigger to help you dive in further. Frustration, sadness, depression, anxiety, and then kind of sudden anger, just kind of outbursts. All of these can be signs to pay attention to help you evaluate the cause. One of the ones that's kind of more in your face, I guess, when you look at recognizing cyberbullying is when people stop kind of communicating, right? And I don't just mean communicating online. Sometimes they stop communicating with other people in person as well. You know, as we saw in the statistics just a second ago, most children will not tell an adult they're being cyberbullied because they aren't really sure what the adult's response will be. When you think about adults who are being cyberbullied themselves, right? We kind of have a different view of things, right? If you think about adults who are cyberbullied, they may not want to tell someone, right? Because it's not easy to show that you're vulnerable. And we're adults, so we think we can just kind of handle anything that comes our way. We have students that feel that same way and think that same way. We have to find a way to help them. So again, we have to recognize some of the signs. This decreased device usage, right? A student who, or an adult for that matter, who may really like to communicate online, all of a sudden they kind of stop. They stop communicating with their devices. They stop sharing in their social media environments. Look, it doesn't matter whether it's a child or an adult. We think if we avoid kind of the location of where it's happening, then we might also be able to avoid the situation. However, avoidance isn't really what solves the problem. But if we all work together, we can put an end to cyberbullying, and for that matter, bullying in person. But whether it's related to a child or an adult, it doesn't matter. We all have to work together. So, you know, every year in October, we bring awareness to bullying and cyberbullying, as well as cybersecurity. And while that's important, you know, 1 month a year doesn't really solve the problem, right? Today I have on my blue shirt. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm wearing it as a reminder to all of us to be kind online and do all that we can to put an end to cyberbullying. So I said we were going to talk about two things today, right? We've talked about the awareness of cyberbullying, but we also need to talk about how are we safe? How does cybersecurity come into play? Bullying can happen to anybody. Cybersecurity goes beyond taking care of yourself, right? And protecting yourself and others from cyberbullying. It goes into so many more things: identity theft, fraud, hacking. There's just this huge long list of things that tie to what we need to do to be cyber safe, right? So remember, I said that October was cybersecurity month too. So let's talk about some tips that can help us stay safe while we learn, work, and live in a digital world. Okay, I have to kind of admit something here. I really struggled with what to say for this part of the presentation. We're adults. We've heard about cybersecurity and how to stay safe online for as long as online has been around, right? These tips that I'm going to give you, they're not rocket science, but yet they're still often overlooked at all ages. So it's really easy to say, stay smart online, but saying it isn't really what protects you, me, the children we know, our friends, our colleagues. what protects us is actually establishing a good, solid routine that will help you stay smart from the start. All right, let's talk about this a little bit. SMART. SMART stands for safety first, meet and mingle, assess, not accept, reliable sources, and tell someone. We're going to dive into each one of these, really with the intent of a lens, not so much that you don't know this already, but more as a way for us to reset our adult routine and know how to help others kind of reset their own routine or start one to begin with, so that they can become cyber safe. All right, so we'll start with safety first. Sounds like a simple tip, one we all likely know, but do you always practice safety first? That's the thing. Let's reset. We live in a busy digital world with emails, texts, chats, social media, and so many ways to share information, kind of even when we don't intend to, right? Our personal information defines us online. And identity fraud grows more common by the day, probably even faster than that. I don't know. I didn't look up the statistics, but as someone who has had identity theft themselves several times, even starting within my own family, it's scary. I do a lot to protect my personal information. However, like I just said, I've been a multi-time, identity theft victim. Adults and students alike share on social media sites, right? So that our friends can see what we're doing and where we're going. We don't always see each other in person, right? So it's kind of fun to see each other digitally. The catch is, if your settings aren't set to protect your privacy, then you've just opened the door for an unwanted visitor. Okay, great. So how do we keep those unwanted visitors locked out? Well, for starters, your password is or should be really, your best friend. My human best friend always has my back, and me hers when we're in person. But you need something to have your back when you're online too. Use your creative and strong best friends to keep you safe, right? By creating and using different strong passwords for different sites and checking your settings for privacy, your online best friends can have your back. But you yourself need to take steps too, right? It's not just about your passwords and your privacy settings. Think before you share and post. You will be more aware of who you may and may not want to see what you're up to. Last but not least on this one, use the tools, but from a trusted source that can help you protect you. So that's safety first. Technology has opened the door for us to meet and mingle with kind of like-minded people across distances, environments that we might not expect, right? As professionals, the contacts could really be beneficial, right? But how do you know the person behind the tech is really who they say they are? Being cautious and not missing opportunities can kind of bring you to this crossroad, right? With a lot of uncertainty on which direction to take. Look, take advantage of your trusted circle and your instincts when deciding if you should meet and mingle in person with some of these people that you've met online. And be careful what you share, right? With this new online connection. We just talked about this a moment ago. They may not be who they seem. All right, so the next one. Assess, not accept. Look, the world is your oyster, right? Or so this saying goes. I'm here to tell you that some oysters, they aren't worth their weight in pearls. And it's silly to say, but I really mean that literally. Look, whether your email delivers an interesting newsletter just at the right time with the exact information you've been searching for, or you find this amazing picture that you just must have as your screensaver. Think before you click. The internet, cell towers, Wi-Fi, and more, they've all opened the information highway, which is kind of exciting, but it's also kind of scary at the same time, right? We are busy, and between emails and texts and pop-ups and all other forms of digital communication, we may not necessarily be thinking about the possible negative impact of what we received or who actually sent it to us, right? Unknown senders can give us rewarding information, absolutely. But they can also sneak into our world when we're busy and perhaps least expecting it. So always, always assess and don't just accept what you receive before you click to open, because the risk may not be worth the reward. Reliable sources. We always want to use trusted sources, right? That's what we're taught in school, right? From a very young age. Cite your source, do your research. Back when I was in school, cite your source, do your research. It meant go to the library, use the card catalog, find a book. Today, it means something completely different. Hopefully, students are still looking in books. We as adults are still looking in books. My bookshelf behind me has a ton of books that I always reference. But the internet, y'all, the internet has it all, right? We know that. Let that sink in for a minute. It literally has it all. I'm about 99.9% confident that I will find anything that I can think of on the internet. Okay, that's kind of cool. That means I never need to step foot in a learning environment anywhere ever again, right? I mean, everything I need is right at my fingertips. Or is it? Okay, I think you know where I'm headed with this, right? So while all of that free-flowing information may be great, it does have its downsides. If I just want to find validation for my thinking, I can definitely do that. But what if validating my way of thinking isn't really what I actually need? Information bias is everywhere, right? But so are facts, opinions, truths, and lies. So you must make sure your source of information is reliable, whatever that source is. Make sure it's reliable. Make sure it's valid. If you effectively and efficiently evaluate your sources of information, you'll be on the right track for finding, using, believing in, sharing reliable sources. While all of these have been great tips so far, right? There is one last, but definitely not least tip that helps us to be smart. The T. Tell someone. If you ever feel worried, uncertain, or uncomfortable while being online, think about what it is that made you feel that way. Talk to someone you trust. We tell that to our students. We tell that to our children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, whatever. We tell that to young people. Do we tell that to ourselves? As adults, do we say that to ourselves? I don't know if we do. I encourage you to find your support system, whether that is family, friend, colleague, emergency responders, I don't know, anybody else. The key is knowing in advance who you can go to when you need help. It's going to help you to obviously have one less thing to worry about if and when you ever actually need the help. So the last piece of SMART is telling someone. Okay, as I said earlier, I'm fairly certain you already know this stuff. You already know how to be smart from the start. These tips are not new to you. They're not new to me. In fact, if we had the time today, we could probably sit down and come up with a much longer list of ways to stay safe online. And it might not result in this easy to remember saying, but this saying isn't something I created, right? I mean, you can do an internet search. You can find this saying out there, maybe in a different variation, but same basic concept, right? This is a well-known and used reminder for how to stay safe online. The infographic on the right, this one over here, it's going to be shared as part of the resources when the webinar recording is uploaded to the TxDLA website. So be on the lookout for it. Rhonda mentioned it just a moment ago. All of the webinars are recorded. They're hosted on the website, and you'll have access to go see it there. But the point is, this resource that's on the right-hand side of the screen, it was really designed as a printable resource to help you remember to be kind online and be smart from the start. Like I said, it's printable, it's shareable, feel free. Not rocket science, but very, very important to remember. Safety first, meet and mingle, assess, not accept, reliable sources, tell someone, and you'll notice at the very bottom, be kind online. That's all I have for today. Rhonda, do we have any questions?
We don't.
Okay. Well, that's excellent. I hope you guys really enjoyed the session. I don't really have anything to share. I can stop sharing my screen here. Oh, Rhonda, I also, like you, cannot stop sharing my screen.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
That's weird. Here, we'll just go back and leave it on that. There we go. It's on that slide now. So thank you all very much, Rhonda. I think you had a few other things that you were going to share at the end.
Yeah, let me steal the screens from you. Okay.
All right, there we go.
Yeah. So definitely want to thank you, Kelly. I think, and I think it was Catherine that put it into the chat that, you know, we all need reminders of this, like all the time, right? Because there are times that we just start doing stuff and it's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have told people that I was out of town, you know, for a whole week before I left. And so I think those reminders are always really good. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Then remember, next month is going to be, it's all about healthy lifestyle. So we're going to learn a little bit about that. So keep an eye out for that. It's going to be under our webinars. There's lots of other information out there on our website. So definitely go and check it out. We want to see, this is, I forgot to obviously change the background when I redid this. But want to definitely thank our sponsors. We could not do the things that we do without our amazing sponsors. And actually we call them partners. I don't know why I said sponsors, but we have amazing partners out there that helps us do the things that we need to do to get this information out to everyone. Want to also remind you again, our annual conference is in Galveston, March 20th through the 23rd. We also have it virtually from April 4th through the 5th, and call for proposals are open. So definitely get out there and share what you know. And join us everywhere between Twitter and Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. We'd love for you to join us in the conversation and just continuing that along. So definitely want to thank everyone. Again, I do not know how to stop sharing my screen. I'm not sure why. We need to probably figure that out, Lisa. We're not able to